Alrighty, well, yeah, that makes us arrive to the conclusion. Let me check the time. Oh, yeah, we have still 40 minutes. Well, no worries, I still have something for you guys. So here in this slide, I didn't just want to conclude, because concluding is kind of easy. I mean, the corpus went from a very big, important text to then historical reference. No, I wanted to give you a chronological slide where you kind of have an overview of how the corpus evolved through time. So it began with minus 750 BCE, so before Christ. So it was the kingdom, so it was religious customs and handled by priests. Then during the Republic, 500 before Christ to almost zero, basically. Law became more structured and public. Then we had the imperial centralization and codification, so that's the empire, which lasted for 500 years. Under which law was centralized under imperial authority. And then 533 of our era, Emperor Justinian I issued the Corpus Juris Civilis. So you can see the corpus did not come like before Christ. It came in 533, 534. And then it fell. I mean, it fell. The Western Roman Empire fell. Then Roman law was forgotten in Western Europe. And then 11th century, so almost 600 years later or even more, it was rediscovered in Italy. Then boom, Ius Commune, because we had social changes and a need for legal unification. And at the time, customs that we had in Europe did not match the corpus. And also we started studying it with canon law and feudal law, and so that fusion became the Ius Commune, which became a shared legal tradition used across Europe. And 12th century to 15th century, that was the shining moment for the corpus, because Roman law was spread, because it was so logical and so professional and so prestigious. It was used by everyone, by popes, monarchs, and jurists, centralized power. But at the 15th century, unfortunately, there was the Protestant Reformation with new ideas, with new needs, and some more criticism against the corpus, and also the authority of Roman law itself. And then 16th to 19th century, and probably even nowadays, we could say, it was the rise of national codification. So Roman law was not prioritized anymore. It was more texts like the Code Civil in France or the one in Germany. And so that led groundwork for modern national codes, like the French civil codes, inspired but not bound to Roman law. That's how I would conclude that. Does everybody agree? Do you have any questions? Any questions before the 5-minute break? Anybody? No questions? Do you all agree to take a 5 minutes break now? For those who have things to do? No questions? Good, very good. Alrighty, well done. It's 53. I am fine with the break. Okay, nice. So what I will do is that I will give you the question here. So I think you can see it, right? What can you see, by the way? Can you just see the question, or do you see I hope you can just see the question. Yeah, you can just see the question, right? Like in a big screen. I didn't check with you, I should have. Yes, okay, perfect, thank you. Phew, nice, okay. Alrighty then, let's take a 5-minute breaks. Here's the question though. Maybe you can think about it during the break. How did the rediscovery of the Corpus Juris Civilis in the 11th century contribute to the creation of the ius commune in Europe? So yeah, I will be there during the break. You can ask me any questions. If you have any comments, questions, I'm here. Yeah. So let's just go back to answering this question at like 7 p.m. 00. Alrighty then. See you in 5 minutes. And I'm here. I will just cut my camera and my mic just for 1 minute and then I will come back. Has, do you have any idea on how to answer this question? Anyone, if you have some ideas, some parts of the answer, I'm all ears. Come on, I'm sure that you can do it. Come on, nobody has any idea how to answer this? All the content was in this course. Come on, I know it's late. I know it's almost done. In 29 minutes, you will have forgotten about me. But I will not have forgotten about you. It's always good to try, even if you're not sure. You can try and can break a limit of your brain to for the exam. Come on. Come on, please. Not make me stay in silence. Oh yes, thank you, Genvi. Okay, so you sent me privately. Is it okay if I read it out loud? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. So Genvi said to me, I guess the rediscovery led to universities studying the corpus and glossators analyzing it with scholasticism, so the method, which means they developed a foundation. And that's actually a very good answer. That's, I would say, a big part of the answer. So yes, it was studied at universities, so the universities and jurists and also even glossators, they played a big role because it was centered around the Corpus Juris Civilis. And so, yeah, with the scholastic method, yeah, it was yeah, scholasticism, so the scholastic method, it was used to fill the gaps, basically, to reconcile the contradictions in the Roman texts. And, but there is something more. So that's a big role indeed. That's definitely one of the section I would put in my answer. And I think I have put it in my answer. So it was also it was also a framework and classified. And just to create a framework and to classify it. I'm not sure I understood the classifying parts, but yes, it was a framework, like creating a standard of law. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the use. Oh, yeah, indeed. Okay, yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. Yes. So the corpus definitely was a major part of the framework of the standard of law that the use commune represented. Indeed, yes, that's very good, actually. So yeah, I mean that's I would say a pretty good answer. Maybe somebody has anything else? Maybe any more elements of answer? How would you answer this question if that was on the exam? Maybe that will be, I don't know, because this gather from week 1 to week 3, that could definitely be. So John V and Irene brought very good elements, definitely to be included in the answer. But what's the ius commune? Because we speak about the corpus. So yes, the corpus is very important. It was a big part of the new standard of law that the ius commune represented. But there's something more that I really want you guys to have. Now, actually, two things. So first, there is the context, and then there is the ius commune. I want just more information about those, about these aspects of the answer. Part of the context is already on the question. That's really inviting you to just talk about it. And I'm sure you know what the ius commune is. I mean, come on. I think every teacher the past year has been repeating you ius commune, what however they're pronouncing it. Good answer too. So yeah, indeed, social context, um, cultural context, I guess even political context, like all the context of the time really played a big role for the corpus to be this considered. And so yes, that's the reasons of why it became part of the EU's commune. Okay, very good. So that definitely put the context in place. Thank you very much. You said it better than me, so that's very good. And yeah, now the last thing, the EU's commune. What's the EU's commune? Because we said that the EU, the corpus contributed to its creation, but what else is included in the EU's commune? I'm sure you know. The EU's commune, it's three major things. One of them is the corpus, and what are the two others? Canon law, indeed, very good. The work made by glossators and commentators. Ah, to some extent, yes, because they kind of commented on the text, but they don't fit into one of the big parts. Like they are within the big parts, but it's not or they counted as in yeah, 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 exactly, yeah. That's what I would say. They count in within Roman law, so the corpus is also within Roman law. So yes, so that's very good. Feudal law, perfect. Marley's comeback unexpectedly. First comment and then boom, giving the right answer. Nice. So yes, we have Roman law, canon law, and feudal law. And so why is the corpus not more important, but I will say it more important than um, canon law or feudal law. What does it bring that canon law and feudal law didn't bring and inspired themselves from the corpus? That's kind of, I kind of give you half of the answers, but so why is the Roman law part more important to a certain extent compared to canon law and feudal law? Like, why is it important to really answer, to really include these ius commune categories in the answer, which is focused more on the corpus? I can ask it differently if you want. It was well structured, sophisticated, and written down and applicable in various contexts, pan-European. Ooh, Edla, I love your answer. That's perfect. I will copy paste your message and put it in my slides. No, that's really nice. Indeed, indeed, it was structured, sophisticated, written down. It was basically like the best text around. And it also gave, yeah, I mean, it gave the structure, it gave the concepts too, the legal concepts, the legal structure. And so the corpus gave that to canon law and to feudal law. So the corpus kind of shaped these legal categories. And so without the corpus, we probably wouldn't have had canon law as it is today, nor feudal law. And so it's perfect. Thank you very much for your participation. I love it. I love when you participate, and especially when you get so many right answers. So yes, here's my answer for this class. I mean, for this class. Oh la 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 la, what am I saying? I'm getting too tired already. For this question. So the question is, how did the rediscovery of the Corpus Juris Civilis in the 11th century contribute to the creation of the ius commune in Europe? Well, first, historical context. So I put some context here. So after the fall, it was forgotten. Then it was local custom, feudal law, and then boom, 11th century, it was rediscovered. Legal Renaissance, scholars believe they had rediscovered Justinian's true law, and the corpus was studied as a living law. Then ius commune was three things: Roman law, canon law, feudal law, and altogether they formed the ius commune. I didn't mention it here, I should have. I couldn't think of everything when I was writing the answer. But basically, yeah, Roman law, super important, more important probably than the others, because it gave them the structure and because it was so sophisticated for its time. And so it heavily influenced canon law and feudal law, at least in the way that it was built. And then universities and juries, so legal education centered on the corpus. The scholastic method, really, really good. Wait, who said it? I want to congratulate someone. A very, very good GNV. That was super nice, very spot on. And so this fusion of everything became the Ius Commune. Practical impact, jurists trained in Roman law. So they were staffed in royal courts, papal administrations, and urban councils. This is definitely like a detail that you might want to include in such an answer because it really reflects the importance of Roman law. And it also became super important in judicial decisions, legal writing, and bureaucratic governance. And so, yeah, I put it in bold because to me that's the most important sentence of the conclusion. The Corpus Juris Civilis became the intellectual foundation of law in most of continental Europe. Voilà, super important. If you want to quote me, you can. I mean, just don't say that it's a quote, just remember that, because I think that's really well put. And yeah, I'm throwing myself a bit of flowers here, but I spent a lot of time on these slides. So one sentence being highlighted, it's okay. And so, yeah, the corpus led to the revival of Roman law, but also to the construction of a pan-European legal system. So very well said, Edla. with the pan-European parts. And through study, interpretation, and application, the jurists they transformed ancient Roman texts into a functional and lasting legal framework, the ius commune. Any questions on this essay question?